Good afternoon, Wolfpack, and welcome back. Today is lesson 18.2 and 3, the volume of pyramids and cones. Hopefully, after today's lesson, you're able to find the volume of pyramids and cones and or use the volume of pyramids and cones to find the radius or the height of the object. Let's get started right away. The formula for the volume of pyramids and cones is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. And if you remember back from our last lesson, capital B, okay, stands for area of the base. So you have to find the area of the base of the shape, multiply it by the height, and then multiply that by 1/3, which is the same thing as cutting it into thirds or dividing it by 3. So the same formula for both pyramids and cones. Obviously, they have different bases. A square pyramid has a square base, and a cone has a circular base. So you find their areas differently, but you still find the area of the base and then multiply it by the height to find, and then divide it by 3 to find the volume. Also notice that just like with prisms and cylinders, the height is perpendicular to the base. Okay, so it's perpendicular to that center right there, forms a 90-degree angle. The height is not slanted, okay? And actually these problems talk about slant height, but we'll do that in class. So what I just highlighted in yellow, that's called the slant height. Sorry about that, let me write it in pen. That's called the slant height. And we will not, we do use that, but we don't use it as the real height. Okay? It's specifically called the slant height. So let's get started. The base of the pyramid is a square, 6 centimeters on each side. The height is 4 centimeters. Round to the nearest tenth. We're going to find the volume. So the volume of this pyramid, what we're looking for, 1/3 area of the base times the height. So 1/3 area of the base. Our base, they said, was a square. So I'm going to multiply the base times the height, and then the height of the pyramid itself. 1/3, the base is 6, and the height is 6, because all sides are the same on the square. So 6 times 6, and then multiply it by the height of 4. Okay? 1/3 of 36 times 4. Okay? 1/3 of 36 is 12. So what I did was I multiplied 1/3 and 36 together. 1/3 and 36, that gave me 12. And then times 4. And then the answer is 48. It says to the nearest tenth, so 0.0 centimeters cubed. Okay? Even if your answer is 0.0, if they say to go to the nearest tenth or the nearest hundredth, even if that digit is a 0, put that 0 there and follow their directions. Okay? If you're doing some a calculator, you also could have taken 36, multiplied it by 4, and then divided by 3 at the end, and that still would have given you 48.0 centimeters cubed. And we're doing cube because obviously we're working with volume. Example number 2. This time we're going to find the height of the square pyramid below with a volume of 312 feet. So the formula for a square pyramid is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So we're going to plug in what we know. The formula, volume 1/3. Area of the base is found by multiplying the base times the height, multiplying it by the height of the figure. So we know the volume is 312. I'm going to plug that in. I know the area of the base is 12 by 12. And I said it was a square, so 12 times 12. I do not know the height, so that h is going to stay just like that. Okay? So 312 equals 1/3, 144 times h. So my goal is to get h by itself because I'm looking for the height. So I'm going to get rid of that 1/3. In order to get rid of that 1/3, I have to multiply both sides by 3/1. When I multiply both sides by 3/1, these cancel out. Right? So on the left side, I now have 936 equals 144h. And remember, I'm going to get h by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by h. And I get 6.5. Our units are feet. And since it's just the height, I don't cube that or anything. This is one dimension. The height is 6.5 feet. Okay? So in this problem, I used the volume and the area of the base to work backwards to find the height. And it was 6.5 feet. Example 3, we will do in class. This is an example of using the slant height. So moving on to example 4, finding the volume of the cone in terms of pi. And we're going to round it to the nearest cubic meter. Formula is volume 1/3 area of the base times height. 1/3. The base is a circle, so pi r squared. And the height is, so the height, we're going to plug in what we have. 1/3 pi. Looks like they're saying the diameter is 8, so that means the radius would be 4 squared. And the height is 12. 1/3 pi times 16 times 12. And when you multiply 1/3 times 16 times 12, or if you multiply 16 times 12 and then divide it by 3, you get 64 pi. Our units are meters cubed. The volume is 64 pi meters cubed. So when you get to this point, you need to make sure that you're plugging it into your calculator correctly. 12 times 16 and then divide it by 3. Okay, 12 times 16 divided by 3. And that's your answer. Example 5, we're going to work backwards like we did with the pyramid. We're going to find the radius of the cone with a volume of 392 pi. So volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height. We're going to plug in what we know. When we know the formula is 1/3 area of the base is pi r squared. Still multiplying it by the height. So the volume is 392 pi equals 1/3 times pi. We don't know what the radius is. We do know the height is 24. So what's my goal of this problem? To find the radius. Okay, so I'm trying to get this r squared by itself and just make it an r. So I'm going to try to start getting everything, get rid of everything. Okay? So first thing I can do is I'm going to get rid of the stuff outside of the parentheses. So 392 pi equals, well, what is 1/3 of 24? Or what is 24 divided by 3? It's 8. So now I have 8 pi r squared. Okay? Kind of simplify that. So that way I'm not getting rid of a fraction and then getting rid of 24. Now I'm just getting rid of 8. I'm going to divide both sides by 8. Okay? So now I have 49 pi equals pi r squared. Now I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Obviously that cancels out, so now I have 49 equals r squared, and I don't want r squared, I want r. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Well, the square root of r squared is r, and the square root of 49 is 7. So the radius of this cone is 7 feet. And there's your answer. Our next problem is example 6. This is a composite figure, finding the volume of a square pyramid and finding the volume of that cube. And we will do this problem in class. So going back to the beginning, making sure that you understand the formula for volume of pyramids and cones is 1/3 area of the base times the height. We did examples 1, finding the volume of the pyramid, and 2, which was using the volume to find the height. Then we went to example 4, finding the volume of the cone, and then example 5 was using the volume to find the radius. Please make sure that you write a summary at the end, and so that way you can come to class prepared for our lesson. Have a great day and a great weekend. See you next class, Wolfpack.